Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to AVX Live. I'm Joe Gilderson, President of Corporate Audio Visual Services. And once again, I am joined by our most recent 40 Under 40 Rising Star Award winner, Mr. Ryan Finch.
Hello, hello. Thank you very much. What a nice introduction that was.
See, I'm trying to be nicer today.
It seems that way. I'm a little nervous.
There still may be a surprise waiting. So, Mr. Finch, I understand that there's going to be like a big celebration in September. Maybe you could tell us something about it.
There is. That would be the Rising Stars award ceremony, and that will be at Millionaire at Westchester County Airport, which I have actually never been to. I know that we worked in that space a fair amount, but I have never been there. And I hear that there's a really wonderful AV production team that's going to be working on that event. So no nepotism, clearly, nothing like that. But I hear there's a great team involved. So I'm very excited. It must be a wonderful day.
I think it's going to sound, it sounds fun to me. I mean, your adoring fans probably want to register right now.
If I have adoring fans, actually, I do have one. Her name is Mom. She has already registered. She did that earlier today. So there you go.
All right, this is good. Well, today we're going to take things in a little bit of a different direction because, you know, we're trying to expand things here. We have a fantastic guest, one with a wide variety of experiences and very deep ties to the community. So before we get started on a discussion, Mr. Rising Star, you think you can tell people how they can find us?
I think I can. You can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube live all the time, not all the time, just Wednesdays, 1 p.m. specifically. We do that for about an hour. We have wonderful conversation. And while you're there, you can drop us a comment. You can be part of the show. We can answer your questions live. We're doing it live, so you might as well ask a question. And of course, if you miss the show, you can catch us on these channels. You can also find bite-sized pieces on Instagram and on Facebook. And I did forget something, Joe. We're going to have to step back a second. You should also hit the subscribe button. You can share, you can like, you can do all those things. Show us some love. It makes us feel like, we're doing this for a good reason. And I think we are. So yeah, it'd be appreciated. Did I hit everything? I did it out of order this time. I kept you on your toes.
That's okay. You're just trying to keep me guessing. I'm good with that. No, I think you got them all.
Okay, deal.
All right. I think it's showtime then.
You know what that means?
Oh no. The music?
Background music.
Oh. All right, fine. We'll go with background music.
It's low. I kept it very low this time.
That's good. That's good. Let me tell you a little bit about today's guest, Maura Daroczy. Maura is the opening director of sales at the SpringHill Suites, which coincidentally is the only hotel that opened in Westchester County during the pandemic. Maura arrived in the U.S. from the Dominican Republic 30 years ago and has lived in Westchester County ever since. Maura started her career in the hospitality industry when she was just 19 years old. Finch, that's like you last year. She did tours at the Marriott, Renaissance, Hilton, and Radisson prior to her role at SpringHill Suites. Maura is very involved in her community. She's on the board of directors of the Westchester Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the Westchester Multicultural Chamber, and has been elected to 2 terms as a village trustee in Dobbs Ferry. Maura is a business professional, homemaker, mother, volunteer, community advocate, and a master networker. Please welcome Maura Daroczy.
Hi, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Great to have you.
Maura, I was not sure which hair was going to be showing up today.
Well, today you get Maura, the curly one. So today we got curls.
Okay. Well, it's looking wonderful. And whatever zhuzhing you did backstage, no one knows about it. And everything came out perfectly.
I probably will do this a few times during the interview.
We'll make sure that we solo you in those moments. Okay.
Be careful because Ryan might as well. That's all I'm going to say. I mean,
and Ryan, congratulations on 40 under 40. I will be there cheering you on. So it's going to be a fantastic event. Millionaire is a fantastic location to have this event. I love it. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you very much, Maura. I appreciate it.
It almost looks like you're in Millionaire right now with that background.
Really?
Well,
it has some of those.
Are you talking about me or are you talking about Maura?
I'm talking about you, Mr. Finch, because I have been there. Whereas I love Maura's background. Maura, where are you today?
I am in one of suites at the SpringHill Suites in Tuckahoe.
Ah,
It looks
okay,
very
very
nice.
nice.
I like the tones, the colors. I mean, it looks like a pretty cool place.
You got to come by and visit us.
Well, I think we're going to have to talk about that. I think we need to recommend some people and get some time over there. I mean, I can't believe you guys opened during the pandemic.
I know.
That's like unbelievable.
It takes an amazing product to open in the middle of the pandemic and stay open while other hotels were closing.
Yeah, absolutely. They really were. But listen, we got a couple of things we're going to cover today. But before we get too deep in, maybe start with a little background about your actual role at SpringHill, and so that everybody can learn a little bit more about the property.
So I am the opening director of sales. This means that I came on board before there were walls inside this room. And I was very engaged into the developing of all of the procedures and protocols involving the brand and the management company, who is Concord Hospitality. This is the only hotel that Concord Hospitality has here in Westchester County, and hopefully it's the first of many more, because it's an excellent company. We have a beautiful culture, and I'm very proud to work for them.
Okay, well, that's great. I mean, I got to imagine, opening any property is quite a workload. Would that be fair to say?
It's not, you don't focus so much on the workload, it's how exciting it is. It's like giving birth to a child. It's like you see it from the beginning, and then your baby's born, and it's such a proud moment to see piece by piece be put together. And it's such a team effort, from the corporate to ownership to the brand, the people on the property. It's very exciting.
That's pretty cool.
I can certainly imagine that. Absolutely.
I didn't know that was the only property for Concord, or the only hotel.
Here in Westchester County, yes, but we are all over the United States.
Wow, very cool. Mm-hmm. So how did you get involved in the hospitality world? And,
Lord. It was a simple internship from Westchester Community College. I was going to school in upstate New York. We used to get too much snow for my taste. I'm a Caribbean girl. And one semester I got stuck in the snow walking to the campus, and I say I'm leaving. And I finished my last semester in Westchester Community College, and Renaissance Westchester was my internship to be able to graduate.
Wow. You know what? I feel like a rare thing these days to see an internship lead to such a long and successful career. Was it something that just drew you in right away? I mean, was it an instant fit, or was it more a specific environment? Or walk me through that. What was that internship like that really pulled you in?
Well, believe it or not, my internship was as a loss prevention officer.
Okay.
So that allowed me to have a full spectrum of how the operation of the hotel worked. There was an opportunity that came a year later in the accounting department as accounts receivable, and I took the role. I was there for 5 years because I became also the credit supervisor. And 5 years in, my general manager and director of sales wanted to do something with the reservations department, and they asked me to build the reservation department. I was very organized, and I was very precise with how I run accounting for the last 5 years. And that gave me that opportunity. And I was the reservation sales manager for 10 years.
Wow. That is quite literally working your way up. I mean, the internship is a bottom rung at any organization, and to work your way up to where you are now, then kudos for that, because that's certainly a lot of work and a lot of reputation that precedes you. So, well done in that regard.
Thanks.
Now you've really gotten to experience a lot of the different parts of a hotel and the hospitality world. What are the things you like most about it?
I always used to say it as making a difference in people's experiences. You have such a power to shift things around for people. I am exposed to people that visit us for funerals, for weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, business, and you have that power to make a difference in their stay, in the experience that they're going to have. You know, I have had a recent experience with a lady that was visiting her mother, that she was ill in the hospital. And unfortunately, her mother passed away. And the way that she hugged me in the lobby, and the way that I was able to embrace her and lift her up, it was very personal for me, very, very personal. So to have that power to be able to make a difference on somebody's experience, whatever they are going through, I find that extremely powerful.
Well, and that certainly makes sense, connecting back to your, your background as a networker. It sounds like you might like people.
I do.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's a nice thing to have. Not everyone can say that. There are a lot of people who don't like people, and well, we don't really have them on the show.
You know, we all have to support each other and embrace each other. And I think that, you know, our human connections are so powerful that we definitely have to embrace them.
It's a good point. And I mean, that's what we enjoy most about our interactions too, is that we always feel like we're helping people. You know, we're part of their big moments, and you know, it feels nice. It's a good thing for all. But Ryan, has Maura been getting some fans, or some fans chiming in? Is that what's going on?
They did. I put it up earlier, but you have a fan.
That's
Nice.
my boyfriend.
Oh,
Thanks, baby.
Thank you, Douglas.
Well, welcome to the show.
There you go, Joe. Nobody told you that you rock, by the way.
No,
I'm just going to point
nobody
that
has
out
said
there.
that.
So the score is 1 Maura and
Yes.
0 Joe Gilderson.
That seems about right, to be quite honest.
Right. Don't entice him, because you're going to get it.
He's probably texting people off screen right now,
I'm
like,
not
"Hey, I'm going
doing
to need you to." No, okay, all right.
No, I'm not doing anything. But you know, we'll continue along. I don't want to get caught up in Ryan's little games here, okay? You know, even though I kind of consider him an intern. Sorry. All right, let's keep going.
Okay.
Let's keep going. See, look, he's gone now. He came back.
Oh, wait, there you go. There it is. Okay,
Oh.
and Ryan, not so much. Okay, so clearly I'm losing.
Bingo.
All right,
Yes.
carry on here.
Okay. So, you know, one of the things we've been talking about, and this isn't usually an area we get into, but the pandemic was such a kind of a life-changing experience for so many people. I know one of the big topics that's come up has been the focus on a work-life balance. And I guess I was interested in what your thoughts were on a work-life balance, what that means to you. And, you know, maybe you could walk us through that a little.
Sometimes I like to think that it's a pretty illusion that we have. In the world that we live in, people want us to move as fast as machines can move right now. And unfortunately, that's not possible. I do feel a little bit privileged that I do have a very supporting team here at the hotel. My general manager, Gary Byrne, is amazing. He definitely values that balance of family and work. And we do our very best to perform our jobs the best way that we can, and definitely to support each other when life gets underway. I think that we all face different challenges here and there that prevent us from having that, you know, beautiful image that everybody sees on social media and everywhere, that everybody think that that's the perfect life that we have, which is just an illusion. But for my personal experience, what I have done is to keep a very firm understanding that you have to maintain a balance. You have to make time for things, because if you don't, you never will. And I find myself from time to time in the middle of the week that I'm like, oh, last night, it's 8 o'clock at night and I'm still in the office. But you have to make sure that you don't make that a norm. It has to be something that happens once in a while. I personally try to wake up early in the morning, make sure that I do a walk now that the weather is so beautiful, and I live in the beautiful village of Dobbsbury. I love to walk down to the river, then get ready, come into the office, do my work, go home. I have two teams that sometimes, you know, they might make time for me, sometimes they don't. They are too busy on their own lives. And then on the weekends, I definitely value a lot my family time, my time with Douglas. We definitely make sure to disconnect completely and focus on family time. So that's something that on the weekends we definitely make sure that we do. So my message is, make sure to keep it a priority. Make sure that you balance everything accordingly. Because if you don't, you're never going to have time to do those valuable times, special moments with your family, with friends. So you have to make the time for it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, very well put. I think you did share a couple of, I guess I'd call strategies, whether it's exercise in the morning or purposefully turning your phone off on the weekends. I'm going to try that one, and I'm really looking forward to it, Joe. Are there any other strategies that you'd say? Because finding balance, I think, is a challenging thing, more so for some people than others. But are there any other tips or strategies or things that you kind of learned along the way that helped you find that, unique balance for you?
I'm a meditator. I like to meditate, even though I have been a little bit off track as of late. It's very difficult for you to turn off your mind. I mean, I struggle with that on and off. I'm a single mother. I go to bed and I'm worrying about what am I have to do tomorrow? Like, you go through your agenda when you finally fall asleep. But one thing that I have learned through my studies with meditation is that your mind is so powerful and you have to use it to your advantage. When you go to bed, turn off the TV, turn off the phone, get into a set of affirmations of, I'm going to have a fantastic night of sleep. I'm going to have a beautiful day tomorrow. You have to make sure that you center yourself into rest, because your body needs that rest. One other thing that I practice a lot is to be on the moment. Like, I'm here with you guys and I am absorbing every second of it. We many times are in a group of people, or we can be doing a million other things, and we are on our phone, or we are thinking about what to say next, or what we are going to do after. Just be present, be in the moment. When I walk in the morning, I can tell you that I'm listening to music. If I'm not listening to a prayer, or I'm listening to a book. When I sit by the river, I completely shut down. I do not think or acknowledge anything. I focus on the river, on how beautiful the day is, and that is my moment. And I think that those are the things that set the tone for your day.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Maura. And I have my own practices in the morning, my exercise routine that at times is, there's a little bit of conflict with others in the household, and really my household is just one other person, my wife, Dana. And at times it's hard to carve that time out that's just for you. You almost feel selfish at times. But I think in what I'm getting at here is, it's easy to look at, this balance and meditation and exercise and look at that as, all right, it's wellness, but it's not just wellness. It's also being effective in the different areas of your life. And I think that also applies well to your work. And it makes you, you show up a better version of yourself at work because of the work, that balance work that you do outside of your office life. Joe, I think you've shown me the great Jim Rohn before. And he has a saying, when you work, work. When you play, play. Don't mix the two. I mean, have you heard that before?
I might have heard it once or twice. But I think Maura's right on point. I think everything she said is critical to success, to be honest. I know for me, I actually do turn my phone off at night, which most people here don't actually know, except when my son is out. Because then I got to keep track of that boy. Who knows what he's up to? But, he's 18. He's a loose cannon. I mean, who knows? But for the most part, I actually do turn it off at night because I don't want that energy while I'm trying to sleep either. Unless I know there's something important. We have a lot of nighttime events. So, there are some things that are critical. But I like the balance, though. The concept of balance and being present in the moment is really
I have another question. Sorry, not to cut you off, Joe. Maura, at what stage in your career did this focus on that work-life balance was it during the pandemic, or did it start earlier than that?
I think that the pandemic was like a refresher, a reminder of how important it is.
Sure.
I am guilty of being a little bit too involved for the 4 years that I was in office. And also working. it was a lot of distractions that prevented me from having the quality time that I probably would have wanted to have with my 17-year-old and my 13-year-old now. So during the pandemic, I definitely got a taste of the quality of a time that you can have with family. And it kind of was a reminder of what is important. I actually have conversations with, I remember having a conversation with Millie Becker, Sky Queen, here in, hi Millie, a wonderful woman that I admire so much here in Westchester County. And Millie and I have a long conversation about this and about how it just kind of changed the way that we saw our family time. And there are things that we practiced then that we have maintained now. And I encourage everybody that some of those things that you were forced to do due to the pandemic, make sure that you keep them, because the world comes back to normal. Make sure that you take something good out of something so bad and difficult that we experience.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, Joe, am I mistaken? Do you have something to share that you took out of the pandemic on a work-life balance and wellness kick? Yeah, believe it or not, I know you of all people.
Well, I mean, I do. I limit it to where I share it, but yeah,
now you're sharing it publicly.
For me, there was someone who told me about this. I got in the Fitbit thing a few years back, and it wasn't crazy about how to use it. And then someone said, "Oh, you're supposed to get 10,000 steps." And so once the pandemic got started, I'm like, I might as well lock into this 10,000 step thing. And I would say that since May 4th of 2020, I've had 10,000 steps or more every single day. Yeah. So now that's a thing, like that's, and it's a must-have.
Yeah.
If you've ever heard some of Tony Robbins, it's a must-have.
It's a must.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Well, we got to teach Ryan a few things here and there, Maura. He can't know everything.
Come on, he's a 40 under 40. He still have a long way to go.
He's That's the future, I think. I don't
know. Oh no.
He's the future. We have high hopes for you, Mr. Finch.
Oh boy.
But no, it's right. Like, take those good habits, because a lot of people changed the way they were doing things during the pandemic. They were at home. They spent more time with their family. Maybe they ate dinner with them, and they didn't prior to that. But I think you're right. How do you take those habits and apply them now that you're back in the workplace?
Yeah. Maintain them.
Right.
But is that easier to say than to do? I think that's the challenge.
Staying present, staying focused, make sure that you don't lose sight of the priority. I think that's important.
So maybe it's defining the priorities.
Yes.
Maybe that's what people have to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is say, hey, this is what's most important to me, and here's who I want to be.
Right.
And you think that makes it a little easier if there's some specific direction?
Absolutely. You definitely have to define your goals and what exactly is it that you're looking to achieve by what you're doing. So if your goal is to engage more with our children, which we all know that our children leave more on their phone than they actually talk to us, TikTok knows more than I do. So, like I have learned my lesson on that. But it is up to us to make sure that we persistently and consistently maintain that and work at it every day. Otherwise, you fall through it. And I can tell you this because I was in a car accident last June, and I was forced to stay home for 3 months, and I was dying because that's not me. And I actually, when I came back to work, I said, okay, I have to look at the good that I learned through this experience. I have to step back a little bit. I cannot be as active. Plus, those are my doctor's orders, who I keep violating all the time. But I found myself a few months ago that I was in May, actually, I was go. I was in every single event. My doctor was knocking on my door, like, what are you doing? I was taking a step back on my recovery because I was doing too much. And I took a very well look at what I was doing, and I said, and I say, unfortunately, I'm going to have to take a step back, and I did. And I've been doing much better since then. I just think that you have to be mindful of what you're doing and don't fall in the trap of just doing, and forgetting about those goals that you set for yourself about more family time and about, creating those priorities. self-care, Ryan. It's called self-care.
Self-care. Well, and we've been, I don't know how familiar you are with the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but here at Corporate AV, it is a mandatory read. And it sounds like you're talking about paying attention to the golden goose and not just the golden eggs that the goose gives you. Look at that, Joe. I'm paying
so
attention.
proud. I'm
paying
so
attention.
proud.
He's listening. Joe, he's listening.
I'm like a sponge, I'm just absorbing.
I mean, sometimes I thought he was just sitting there, but no, he is. He's in the moment. He's listening. That's great. That's really good. I like the idea of defining things and then trying to focus on them, keep centered. For me, I think because I divorced a number of years ago, I had to really nail down times because being with the children was the first priority. And so I had to kind of lock those in. And honestly, that schedule has been the same for over 10 years. And it makes things very easy to manage in some regards because that's the priority. And so that in my head, like, no, look, I don't go to events on these nights. I go to events on the other nights. So it makes it very clear, which I know sounds crazy, but I think it's beneficial all around in my life.
It's definitely true. And I tell you something, I have a specific timeline. I'm a member of a church, and my church meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So when there are events, unless it's mandatory, unless it's something that I cannot miss, I decline on the invitation because I already have a pre-engagement that I will not compromise. So those are the things that you have to definitely set for yourself.
Right. Putting first things first.
Absolutely.
This guy is just one book reference after another.
I don't have any original thoughts. I just
But that's a good thing that you read. I love it that you're a reader. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, it has made a lot of changes in my life. So, I am a big fan, and the things that you're talking about, Maura, are very pertinent to, the kind of life that I want to lead. And of course, Joe is a great example of that as well. So good company, clearly.
You got to send me some recommendations. Okay.
Book wise?
Yes.
I'm going to get you on Atomic Habits. I got Joe on it already.
Oh,
yep.
I'm in.
It's the science of how to control and modify your own habits. And first identify, because you have to be aware of them first.
More of the problem is I identified some bad habits that I really like. So
it doesn't cover anything about that part. That's a different book.
It was a little ad lib on my own.
Ryan, have you read The Power of the Subconscious Mind?
I've certainly heard of the title, but I have not read it. The Power of the Subconscious Mind.
I'm going to send it to you.
Okay, deal.
Powerful book.
Wow, this is good stuff.
I hope I don't become too powerful, because then, Joe, you're in trouble.
I welcome it. I want to learn from everyone. So we're okay with that. Maura, after the show, I'm going to have you talk to my wife about the phone and maybe putting that aside when she comes home. Maybe ella va a escuchar a usted. Nunca va a escuchar a mí. So maybe she'll listen to you.
It is not like, look, it is not, if Douglas would be speaking, he would be like, first of all, I can't touch my food when I'm in a restaurant until she takes a picture. I have a blogger's food page, and like my picture have to go first before anything. Do not touch the food. So it's, it's kind of like a habit of mine. But I mean, we do have a tool in our phone, but I truly believe that sometimes you have to put it down. I went to a festival a couple of weeks ago, and by accident I left my phone in the house, and I was in the car like this. Yes, I left my phone. So I was without a phone the whole entire time.
You didn't have crippling anxiety, is that what you're saying?
Nope, I was good.
Wow.
There you go. See, that's it. Now, I don't know about the millennials. They might have some challenges with that, but either way.
I would start to sweat. There might be some involuntary muscle twitches.
That's okay. Look, we're gonna keep moving on. I don't want to talk about these phones right now, But one of the things I notice is that you're so active in your different communities. Whether it's your church or whether it's the multicultural chamber or the Westchester Hispanic Chamber. Why is this so important to you? And maybe tell us a little bit more about these groups that you participate in.
I think that it goes back to the same thing that you mentioned before. I'm a people person. I love connecting people. I was privileged to meet Ali Federico who is actually a pioneer with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. A few years back, when I was with the Hilton Westchester, and Ali has been a very important factor of introducing me to so many great people here in Westchester. I find myself privileged to be surrounded by very powerful, intelligent, and wonderful women in this community. I'm very good friends with Maria Trusa. I'm very good friends with Ali, Millie Becker, so many other, women in this industry that they are CEOs, that they have, they've been around for quite some time, and that they use their platform to open the door for others that they come in behind them. And that's what I do. I like to open the platform and introduce people and help people in all of the different levels that God has given me the blessing of being a part of. If it's not in hospitality, it is then with my church, or if it's with my politics. So I'm very involved because I just like to help others and open the doors that one day were open for me.
Oh, well, beautifully said. And of course, it seems like you have an effect on other people as well. So thank you, Mike Dardano. That's 2 for Maura, if you're following along at home. But it sounds like, again, you said it yourself, your affinity for people. But it also sounds like there are certain magnetic personalities, right? Magnetic people that will kind of draw you into something that is bigger than yourself. And honestly, I think that's important for everyone to find. So it's it's something that speaks to a deeper place in you, clearly, right? Than say just what you're doing to for work, or just what you're doing in any one area of your life. That this is kind of a more purposeful way to spend your time. Is that fair to say?
It is, but I'm a true believer that you attract who you are. And because I am a person that I just really love to be fair. I like to be honest. You definitely attract those people. And I've been blessed that God just put great people in my path. I'm so blessed. I'm out of words to tell you. And it is because you have to be that person. You attract what you are. And if you are a positive person, and if you do good to others and always try to help others, God is going to put in your path those kind of people for yourself. If you're a person that you always feel sorry for yourself, that you always think that the world is against you and that things never work well for you, back again to the book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Everything that you think and that you focus on expands. So if you focus on good things and you focus on positivity, those are the things that are going to come your way.
Oh, absolutely. So this is something that I very firmly believe that you're touching. This is getting to the secret, if you will.
Yes, that's another.
There we are. There we are. That was my entry point to this whole way of thinking. I think 7 Habits actually came right after the secret, but no, I completely agree. I mean, Joe, you I would say follow in this line of thought. No,
I do.
Okay, great. That's great. Thanks.
That's all I wanted to give you.
You don't sound unbelievable, to be honest with you. Some people laugh about this kind of concepts and ideas, but listen, I'm a big believer that you attract what you believe and what you are. And I believe it because I always ask myself, and I always say, I always got great people in my path. God always put good people in my path, and there has to be a reason behind it. So.
Well, yes, and Maura, speaking of the Rising Stars 40 Under 40, they asked me a quote, right? I had to pick any quote, and it was, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Is that speaking of that power of belief. And I think I also understand why Joe didn't want to say anything, because apparently he has a lot of secrets. So there we go. And that's in a public forum, and it can't be undone.
I can just delete it and post. Problem solved. That book, The Secret, was actually the first. We've handed out a number of books here, at the company over the years, and that was the first one where we kind of provided for everyone, because we were trying to, again, work on this part first, before we do the actual work of going on site and setting up for events. But you have to put your mind in the right place. And our job is to help people. That's the first thing, is what our job is. Not so much the technology, it's how we help people. But it's still not the first goal. The first goal is you have to help people. And so I think you're very much in sync with us, which is probably how you landed on this show. I heard the great people, and we attracted. I see what happened here.
But look at from this perspective. You look at the platform that you provide to people that is helping people, and at the same time is using your business, is using what you do, which is audiovisual, is your technology, is everything that is involved with the technology that you offer to people to be able to connect them. Think about how powerful what you offering right now was during the pandemic. Families were able to connect because of that you offer to them.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, personally speaking, I think we all, those of us that worked on the virtual side of the business during that time, there was a very deep, purposeful, spirit to all of that. Not that it didn't exist outside of that time frame, but when society needed something, in the business community, and more than just the business community, needed something, and we found ourselves uniquely, suited to help. Again, speaking personally, that really motivated us. That really was a driving force behind the late nights, and and racking your brain to try and figure out solutions to certain problems that you had never had to think about before. But you're totally right. You're totally right.
I still remember the first network event that the Business Council of Westchester did during the pandemic. And I remember that some of us were wearing gym clothes. Never before you have done that, going to a network event, right?
Right.
Some of us were in workout clothes. Some of us were at home. Some of us had the kids in the background. Somebody was drinking a glass of wine. It was so unconventional, but at the same time so powerful. And it's so funny because I still had that vision in my head of how powerful that first network event remotely it was. Yes. It was the beginning of so much that forget it. You can't put words to it. It was amazing.
Well, because you got to see people in a different way.
Yeah.
You saw them in a different light. And the interesting thing was you could actually form a different relationship than you might have had at the actual event. Right? Because there tends to be certain cliques and groups that form. It's just a natural thing that happens. But once you were in that artificial space, it was a little different. And so people who wouldn't normally be very talkative maybe were very comfortable, and others were very uncomfortable in that space looking at this little camera, so it was interesting.
But it has opened a window of opportunities for us because, for example, when I was in office and I had to be at a board meeting, then I would have a Democratic Party meeting. Then I would have to be on my, let's say, affordable housing meeting. You are able to multitask in so many different ways. You can do so many different meetings without the need of moving out of your office. I think it made us more productive. And I personally am able to do a lot more because of this technology than I did before.
Oh, no question. I mean, the level of efficiency, we recognize right away, too, that this by itself wasn't going away after the pandemic, right? It was like, great, now everyone knows how to do this, and they're going to expect it to continue, to some extent. Obviously, things change a little bit, but, it's like Pandora's box. Once we realize we don't have to get in a car and drive an hour to have the same meeting that we can have face-to-face on a computer, then Pandora doesn't go back inside the box after that.
Yes. I really think that it's such a great way of connecting with people, of being in multiple places at once without actually having to leave your office. I mean, I can do 4 meetings. This is my 5th meeting today, probably, after speaking with my kids and talking to other people that I have spoken to. But my official meeting is like my 3rd meeting, 2nd on camera. Forget it. And it's only 1:40 in the afternoon.
Well, no wonder it's a good hair day then.
It was raining this morning. Actually, when I was walking, I was concerned. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna ruin my hair." And I have a big event tonight with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We are doing Hispanic women of impact, and we are honoring some amazing women of Hispanic women of our community. And I'm so excited to do that. So the hair needed to be right today. There was no way for wrong.
Big day, absolutely.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, look, we don't want to forget about your most important community, your family, and of course, your health. We talked a little bit about your health. How do you find the time to balance being a mother and a volunteer, professional, and still take care of yourself? Like, how do you find that time to balance it?
That's a tricky one because, of course, that the children come first. You always put yourself on the sides. Like, if you have something that is medical that you got to take care of, forget it. They're gonna go first. You go last. But I try again to keep my priorities straight. I became a single mother after being married for almost 20 years, and it was a big change for me to adapt now to be a single mother with 2 teenagers. But I have 2 very responsible young ladies who are very good in school. Sometimes, they drive me a little bit crazy, but they get a lot of breaks because they are straight 8 students. So, when they ask me for something, then they go like, Mom, I'm having 4.2 in school. And I was like, okay, you can go. Because, how can you argue that? It's like, I can't restrict them that much.
Right.
But these 2 ladies have their own agenda, their own way that they do things. So they actually do give me the freedom of being able to be a little more flexible with my persona. It's kind of difficult to try to drag kids into trying to spend time with you at that age because they're not interested in spending time with you. And I have that message for every parent that is out there. Forget it. You don't exist. It's not about you. They want to be with their friends. They want to be with their phone.
Yeah, this is
true. Get a good night when they go to bed.
Yeah, I've noticed a little bit of that maybe. But with an 18 and 12-year-old. I thought I was locked in on the 12-year-old. I thought we were really solid, but the phone is winning lately. So the 18-year-old I gave up on. Like I knew I was done. But
you got it restricted. That's why there is, restrictions on the phone. So my kids, even my 17-year-old, had a restriction that the phone gets shut off automatically after a certain time. They're allowed to speak with certain people after a certain time, because we always have to remember that at the end of the day, we are the parent and we have to retain some sort of parenthood control somewhere in there.
I like this idea. Maybe I'll use technology for once.
Hey, look at this. This is like a full circle moment, right? Because usually, Maura, we set out, or originally we had set out to talk about, technology and the places that it has in everyone's life. And this is one of those things. And it's nice to talk about it. But obviously there are many other topics that we've talked about over the last basically 2 years of this. But a phone that can turn itself off. Imagine that. I suppose that we all have this power in our phones and we had no idea.
Come on.
I don't have any children, so I've never had to restrict it. I just have to put my own phone down, which is hard enough.
You can restrict it for yourself. So I have a limit on the amount of time that I will spend on social media. Mm-hmm. And I set that for myself. So I set up my boundaries that is 2 hours maximum. And in 2 hours, my apps shut off and I am not allowed to get in.
Well, that's a nice idea. See, my moderation habits have always been wait till it becomes a problem and then take a sabbatical and reassess, right? It's like, whoa, all right, I feel like maybe I've been spending too much time on it, and then I'll remove it completely for a period of, maybe a couple of weeks. And then when I dip a toe back in, I'm like, okay, now I kind of feel like my relationship with it has changed and reset. And then I just kind of rinse and repeat because inevitably I'm going to be right back in. But yeah, I guess it's been working-ish. Maybe I got to try your way.
You're going to have to try a new path.
It's all about habits. It's all about habits. Just the same thing like the book that you want to recommend me. It's all
true.
About habits. So you got to identify, like you said, an issue. And at one point I did find myself like, you know what? You think about it and you pick up your phone and you go on Facebook and an hour goes by and you're still on Facebook. So it is a matter of kind of like really being realistic about where you're putting your time and trying to make changes and adjustments to it, because honestly, I don't think it's that productive to spend a whole hour flipping through what people are doing.
And it's also exhausting to an extent, like mentally. You don't feel like, even if you wanted to scroll on a break, you don't feel like you just had a break. You don't feel like you decompressed. You don't feel like you got anything, beyond mindless entertainment, basically, in most cases anyway. So, not even a good recharging tool.
Your brain needs a break, just like your body does. It's funny. My meditation yesterday was speaking about that. You need to shut down. You need to stop at some point, because your brain needs to rest, just like your body does.
Listen, Ryan, you're not going to be shutting down anytime this afternoon, but I mean, after that,
on my time, apparently. Okay.
Your time, you can shut down for the rest of the night. Okay.
You got it.
We're going to figure out how to turn your phone off from here. I think I got it on my stream deck. I could probably hit a button to turn your phone off, but
you forget that you're talking to a millennium. You're about to lose an employee, because he's going to be on a panic attack.
Careful.
He'll be okay.
That's all right. Joe's an Android guy. Joe's an Android guy, so we don't even speak the same language.
Go ahead, Maura.
You have an Android?
I do, yes.
Oh no, I don't like Android.
There we go. Let's dig into that, right? Can't even trust him now.
No, I tried it once. I lasted a week. I returned the phone. I couldn't. I just couldn't. Sorry.
It feels like we've gotten a little off track here.
Okay. Bring us back.
No, we're talking technology and how it impacts your life, Joe. That's the core of this show.
All right.
Look, some people have different habits. 4 a.m. is my social media cutoff time. Mike, that's pretty, I don't know if that's 4 a.m. like he's starting his day and he's got to turn it off, or 4 a.m. he's ending the previous day and now that's enough. I don't know.
I don't think you want to know.
But that's Mike's life. That's what Mike does. That's and you're so good at it, sweetheart. That's what Mike does. So of course,
that is true.
He's working.
That is his thing. No question. But this has been really interesting. It's been great. Like we're stuck in technology things. While we're talking technology, we're really talking about the bigger picture.
Right.
And I think that's the more important topic anyways, about what you really want out of life and how you want to balance those things that are important to you. And so we really appreciate all of your time and your commitment too, to all of your communities. You're involved in so many different groups, and that's great. But balancing the people and the ideas that are important, I think this is a great topic and something we all need to improve on. So muchas gracias por su consejo. You are such an expert. We're very happy about this.
Ha sido un placer.
And wait till you hear what I'm going to tell you about Ryan after the show's over.
Oh, no.
Well, listen, thank you again, Maura. We appreciate your time. We know you got to get ready for the big awards tonight.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure. And listen, anytime that we can come up with some interesting topics, I'm all yours.
That sounds great.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you again, Maura. We're going to connect with you soon. Mr. Finch.
Thanks, Maura.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Finch, hopefully you've learned some things today.
I learned quite a great deal.
It's not all about your phone. Okay?
It's not all about the phone. That's right. But if it is about your phone at any point, it shouldn't be an Android, and that's what we learned.
Okay, I think we got that at the end. Yes, I understand. But I mean, we really did get a lot more. Provide some great tips on how people can stay in the moment, how they can really focus on the things that are important, whether it's their family, it's their health, where to put work in all of their communities in their life. And I think that's it. We're more than just robots, as she said in the very beginning, even though
that is absolutely correct.
I don't know. I do feel like a robot sometimes. I mean,
well, and if you were to read Atomic Habits by James Clear, you can hack your robot brain and train yourself to do anything, or train yourself not to do anything. So anyway, that I'll tell you off the air all the things that I've corrected about myself.
Off the air. Make sure you get that copy over to Maura, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Done.
She's interested. All right. Listen, let's tell everybody how they can find us next time.
Okay, you can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube Live. We're doing this every Wednesday, 1 o'clock. We have more great guests like Maura, so come on back and join us. While you're there, you can drop us a comment. You can be part of the show just like people did today. And of course, if you missed this, you can find the highlights on Facebook and on Instagram, chopped up, chunkable pieces. Thank you, Andrew Castellano.
Shark bites.
Shark bites. What else am I forgetting? Am I forgetting anything? I think I'm forgetting something.
Hit that like and subscribe.
Hit the like and subscribe. I just wanted you to say it. So there you go.
Smash that button.
Smash the button and show us some love, and it's much appreciated. Thank you.
All right. Well, listen, Ryan, it's time. We're going to do this all again next time, but next week is going to be all
more background music.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao. Mr. Finch, let's hear what you got.
Stay golden, Pony Boy. That's my thing now. Bye.
That's terrible.